Hello, welcome to another episode of Trans Journeys, and on this episode we are going to be running, you can probably hear them chirping away in the background. There we go. You can hear them running around chirping away in the background. We're doing some choppers. We're in a slight snowstorm for December. So we got 2312 and 2308. Leave those on. There we go. Cable. We're waiting for a bit anyway. We've got two flasks behind us, and we've got our red light on, which is good. That's awesome. Right, just need to set our train up. And this is the cargo line, volume 4 nuclear, volume 5 nuclear. Can't remember. I can never remember if it's 4 or 5. It's always one of those things, isn't it? Right, so yeah. Why is... Oh, we got to switch her on first. Let's do the old switcheroonie. There she goes. Stick her on and stick her on. Put key in, which is over there. Is the key there? Key. Put the key there. What are our horn sounds today? Nice. What's this one? Nice. And as you know, the 20s, the sounds, the horn sounds should be different. There should be randomized ones. There you go, that's the one with the stuffed sock down it. There you go. Right. Actually, what I will do, if I can see it, hate looking at that, climb steps. Climb the steps, Mausoleo. Where is the cab light? Instrument lights off. Headlights select mode. Right, there we go. No, we don't want light. You don't want light, you don't want that one. Probably marker lights then. There we go. That's better. I always tend, I like having my tail lights on. Right, we need to put the demister on as well. Where I can find it. So 6O62, increase brightness, test, and increase volume. I thought they'd be lit up actually, to be honest, number packs, they should be, in theory. Right, let's put the wipers on. Let me see. Need the demister. Install. I always call it demister. I don't know why. It's just, yeah, because I'm an idiot basically. so we don't need a cab light on. Right, so make sure she is on there. Push her forward. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Right. So we're going via location. We're going by train first. So this is an evening, early morning run in a snowstorm. Brakes are. This is quite nice. Pendo going up. Gotta admit, the snow effect's quite nice. That'll keep the engine nice and warm. I'll tell you what AWS. I don't know where the DVD is. That's huge. So this is a bit of an alternative thing. I thought, shall I rewind the time back to the summer? Be a nice morning, sort of summery morning. But I thought, you know what? Let's just do one in the evening, sort of in December time in snow. I don't usually get to do them. And it's nice to drive. You will get to see the thingy. Go by Tring, Watford Junction, and stop at Wilson Junction. I just got picked up a parcel. I just went down and checked some post downstairs, and I just opened my door and there was a parcel. I was like, well, that's not DHL. And I was like, oh, I know what that is. And yeah, it was I ordered from Great Eastern Models. I ordered 2 weathered EWS OBA wagons from Bachmann, from Great Eastern Models, who are absolutely great. These are second hand, £15 each, and they look pretty cool. So they'll be going on the railway. I have a OCA wagon and a rail freight red and grey OBA wagon as well. So that'll be a nice little fleet that I can have. I think this is Bletchley, that was, I think. I need to find the other ones out at some point and have a quick look at them. So it is routing us down onto the fast. I don't know why. It's a bit silly that. I think that's a bug. Actually, I think Adam, Lucas Own, did turn around and say that that is a bug. It shouldn't do that. It's taking the shortest route.
The gap.
So yeah. So yeah, it's probably not the best idea to be doing a stream with a dark thingy with 20s, but hey, they're 20s. I don't think my hazard lights are on. So we're doing a maximum of 60 miles an hour down the West Coast main line. On the fast line. So in theory the hazard lights are on. They don't even work. I'll speak to Adam about that. I think this is a great addition to the game. Nowadays, I mean, it would be 68 or 88 that's all in these. I mean, crikey, we had 68s down here, first ever. Started in 2023, hauling 10 PFA wagons. That's those four-wheeled wagons with cabriolet containers. So what cabriolet containers? They're basically containers that aren't full containers. They have a plastic sheet that goes over the top of them, but they're about the height of a steel drum, or just higher than a steel drum. And what these steel drums had, they came back from Winfrith, which used to be a nuclear waste processing research facility down near Wall, and that had been decommissioned a good few years ago, and this was the last lot of like radioactive debris and rubble that was being removed for treatment up at Sellafield. And what they're doing, they just filled it all with it was all low-level radioactive waste. Apparently, you know, oh yeah, people were not happy about it. You know, it's not as if, you know, we were having these flask trains down once every couple of months back in the 80s before they decommissioned the site. So yeah, you know. So we had about 9 or 10 trains, probably 12 trains, something like that, throughout 2023 into 2024, and one of the last trains down, it had a 68 on it on the front end, and on the back was an 88. So that was a first ever for Dorset. We never had a Class 88 down here, not alone having 68s down here, which are fantastic locos. We had an 88, I can't remember the number offhand. I quite like the 68s, they're lovely locos. But yeah, having a hybrid electric diesel loco down here, but it wasn't running, which is annoying really. They had to shunt the loco out when it come back. The loco was on the rear again of the train, basically because, well, I mean, it went from, it came from Crewe to Wembley, and then went Wembley to Ruhr, and it did the same on the way back, literally Ruhr to Wembley, reception sidings, then Wembley reception sidings, went up to Crewe Coal Sidings. So yeah, it was a bit of a fan favourite, that train, when it ran in 2023 and about 1 or 2 in 2024. But yes, getting to see an 88 down here was, because it's, you know, it's very rare to see anything overhead down here, basically with overhead pantographs. So especially deep in third rail, stabiliser rail country, territory even, and down on the south coast, basically. And yeah, it was quite cool, to be honest, to see it. And it's one of possibly 2 overhead electrics. You know, OHLE. I know it's a hybrid loco. It's diesel and electric, but to have, it is, you know, OHLE, to have an OHLE loco down here, not working though, obviously. It's only the second one. I think the other one was, it's either an 87, it was either an 87 or 86. Oh, and the other one was the 76 2700 Electra, which the one that came back from the Dutch railways back in the 80s. We had that down because the 86 or 87 and the 76 or 77, whatever it was, they came down for Bournemouth Open Day. So yeah, that was quite a spectacle to see. And because they had to literally, you know, we're two stations away. Well, we're the 3rd station away from Bournemouth, and so the locos were hauled down to Branksome, but because they were not allowed to reverse into the thingy, into Bournemouth Depot, Branksome, at Branksome, they had to come down to Poole to run the loco run round, and then run up to Branksome again, then directly into the depot. I think it was a 33 that brought the convoy down and took the convoy out, and the following, because when Bournemouth Depot happened, we were there in the evening because all the units the 455 units, the 465, the other units that came out that went to the open day, they were all coming out because they had to go back to their respective sections of the third rail network. And there were a couple that which were obviously had compatible couplers. A couple of them were overhead that were being shunted out, yeah, they could get shunted out, but the other ones couldn't, and they departed. We were up there for about an hour to 2 hours, to about 10 o'clock at night, just basically looking at all the stuff coming out. It was quite cool, to be honest. But yeah, it was the 86, it was the Deltic, it was 50007, which was at that point GWR Green said with Elgar. The 86, the 77, or 76, whatever it was, 86, 87, I can't remember. I think it was an 86, 77, 76, whatever it was, 2700 Electra. So Edward Elgar and Deltic. I'm not sure what Deltic it was. Oh, that's Pendo. That's not Pendo. That's a Desiro. Interesting. They all came out the following day. Went down in the sidings. The 33 ran round, a lot of them, and then hauled them. I think it went up to Wembley in the end, where it was a 33-1. I can remember that. I'm sure it was. But those were the days. Those were the good days. They were. I mean, you didn't know what was going to turn up. Sometimes you get something on the grapevine saying, "Oh, this is going to turn up." It just so happened that I had every week there used to be a book, a pamphlet that was printed with all the special operations that was going on through your station, or you know, over the Southern Region network, and it would give all the special instructions and everything that was needed. You know, all the. This is where we got. I always literally. I was down the station, and I would always on the week when it was published, and they would always give me a copy to keep, or sometimes to have a look at. I'd always take notes and everything, but then they started saying, "Oh, you can keep that. We got plenty of them." So yeah, it was pretty cool to keep those. I really wish I had them now, because they'd have had a lot of information on them. They told you what their wagons were and the timings and everything. So it'd be mostly stuff for special ECS workings, or engineers trains overnight, or you know, weekend engineering works. So yeah, that in a fact was like the equivalent to what real-time trains is today. Oh hello, someone just turned the lights on. Interesting. Someone turned the lights on now. What do our logos look like? Hold on. Hopefully we can slow down, otherwise I'm screwed. That gives something. Oh, interesting. So I think, if I remember rightly, we have a train in there. There we go. So that should get a green light. So when you are coming up to a red light, make sure you're going down between like 15 and like, don't rush up to it in the vain hope that it will change, because 95% of the time it won't. So just crawl, because basically there is a train in there, look. 7:48. So he should be leaving in a minute. There's no good racing up to it, because basically you're just going to stop. So you could be sat there. So the other thing as far as, make sure you're far enough away from it that you can actually see it, instead of like looking out the window up the top here, something stringing in it. Very sure and see you ain't going anywhere. So you can have a look at our. It's still pretty dark out. I do have a Barkman, one of these, a model railway one for the model railway. I think it is a Crewe scale that do the other ones, the model ones, and you have like a little button battery, LR32 battery that goes in there, and it activates a little red. Activates a little red flashing light on the back, which is pretty cool. So I should get the light in a minute anyway. I have set this to dynamic weather, so it could get worse. It could ease off, which it does look as though it's doing. I think we're going to be stuck underneath this, behind this, this train now as well. It's annoying, but hey ho. I'm going to phone this signal. definitely need a little bit more flag out of that exhaust. But I don't think we need the wipers on. Wipers are not stopping. Oh, hello. I've noticed that recently, that when you do go via or you complete something, there's a bit of a pause there, which is a bit annoying. Ah, there you go. So we've had some overnight snow along the route. It's going to cause travel chaos. It always does with snow in the UK. Travel chaos happens. I'm hopefully recording 3 episodes. I've got one more episode to record tonight or this afternoon. I've got to go out somewhere first today, so then hopefully when I get back later on this afternoon, coming into tomorrow when I get home from work, I can start editing them. One of them should go up Friday at some point. This Friday coming. Yeah. And that will go up as members first video, and then that will release on Saturday for a normal. Quite like using my horns. Sorry. It's not sorry, to be honest. do about 30 or 40. Keep us going for a bit. So in the top right hand corner, just below this distance signal, the route marker, I do have the frame rates up. I just set them to running at 60 frames a second. Does the job. So it's just a mental note really for stuff that's going, so that I know what we're running at. I mean, I have a GeForce RTX 3060, 12GB GDDR6 RAM, and I'm running 32GB, thanks Paul, on the PC, or now the unmute PC. Which it does run warm, which is really cool. Well, it's not really cool, but yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty cool, to be honest. I like the streaks down the window. That's cool. That yellow? That's yellow. So I'm also looking out for the. I got a message Matt at some point as well. I spoke to him yesterday about it. About the when we did the ambassador event up at Dovetail back in August, there was an amazing piece of headphones there, and they were Riesa, and they were absolutely fantastic. They sounded, they were so good. It was just like we were checking out the latest 3 routes, and I was on the Riviera line, and I think I was either in a Voyager or an 802. And it came up with the announcements, and I nearly bricked myself, to put it in layman's term, because there was this voice behind me, a woman's voice behind me. I was like, who the f is that? Turned round, there was no one there. It was the announcements in the headphones. It was like, whoa. It was just like there's someone that stood behind me, and I'm thinking, I want to get a pair of those headphones. But the headphones I seen, they're a bit expensive. Oh, look at that. They are anything up to 149 or 200 odd quid, some of them. And I'm like, okay. These were wired, they weren't wireless. So, yeah. I mean, the ones I use here, these are I can't remember what they are now. Turtle Beach. They're Turtle Beach headphones. I've got 2. I've got a red pair, which is the ones that I'm using now. I've got a blue pair, what I use on the PS5 on my live streams there. I wouldn't be surprised if before we get to Wembley it starts woofing it down with snow again. My lords. Definitely chucking out my carbon footprint there. There's definitely no sounds coming from those wagons. it's going through the station. .60 is our maximum speed as well. So it's been a few weeks since I've done the last episode of Trains and More Journey. It's just been really busy. Most of you know that I now do have a job. It's a part-time job. It's only a temporary one. I'm kind of hoping it's more permanent, but we'll have to wait and see January. But yeah, it's good. It's good because you know, for the old mental health, I've got no responsibilities. So I'm not a supervisor or anything. I'm not in charge of people. I haven't got to answer. The only people I have to answer to is the ones above me. That's it. I've got no other responsibilities, and I'm happy with that. And I can I can literally finish. Excuse me. I can finish, go home, and not think about it until the next day, or when after I go back to work. Because I do 4 days and I have 3 days off. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Watford Junction is next. So that's helped the mental health side of things, because basically I'm out, I'm talking to people, I'm enjoying sort of stuff and everything. So yeah, which is really good. 'Cause once, you know, if you're stuck in a rut, and I mean, I don't really want to go out every day sort of thing. So where do I go? Because I've got no money, or you know, you got to look after your money. So, you know, you stay in, and then you don't really want to be doing stuff when you stay in, and then you get, you know, you start thinking about stuff, and that's where your mental health suffers and everything. And you know, you got to be more you get less motivated, and then when DWP start calling, well, you'll be coming back onto appointments with us every 2 weeks. As it now, it's 8 weeks for me because I'm working. You know, it just starts then in that stupid cycle. I don't know about you, but whenever I see a message come through, you must read this message in your journal from DWP, it just really gets, oh, what do they want? What have I done now? Blah 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 blah. And especially if I'm out and it comes through on my phone, because I can't access the universal credit thing on my phone. It just won't accept my password anymore. I don't know why. It works. It's the same password that I use on my PC. Exactly the same. I can access it from the PC, but I can't access it from my phone. No idea why. But yeah, the anxiety starts. I think that's Hemel Hempstead we just gone through. The anxiety starts, and it does. You know, it didn't before all this happened with my mum. Oh, King's Langley, sorry. And yeah, it's all right for people to turn around and say, "Oh, just get over it, deal with it," sort of thing. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. I never used to be like this, and it was the cause and the problems of my last job, because I was always second guessing stuff, and towards the end, when everything all went tits up at my last job, you know, in the year of hell, literally, when we were told we were all being made redundant, and then we were just literally, I just being left to deal with loads of shit that was going on and everything. it does affect your mental health. And people turn around and say, "Oh God, get on with it." It doesn't always work that way. Slow it down a bit. You know, the thing is, then obviously with what happens with my mum, losing her, losing everything, basically the house, everything, and doing what I did, it just all accumulates. So this is why it is good that when you do get a job that you can keep it, and because you get out, you learn to start socialising, you make new friends and everything, and that's a good thing. I try not to forget my friends. In fact, I need to speak to one of my mates today to hopefully pop out and have a pre-Christmas drink, you know, with him and his family at some point, hopefully before Christmas. So I need to speak to him. So yeah, it's not, you know, I'm okay. I'm in an okay place at the moment, but yeah, it's just, you know, getting your life back, or trying to get your life back to a point where you are okay. So yeah, but yeah, I'm okay at the moment because, you know, I've got things looking up, but there are things that are trying to pull me back down, which I've got to just keep an eye on. That's the bloody GSMR's going off again. Hello P888 UK. He's just over here somewhere. So we got a double relay. Now all the speeds have gone. Here we go. Right, so I suspect he's just left. So I'm not going to rush up to the yellow when it goes green. See what I mean by the pause when you went to the go to the go via thingy, it paused. So I need to speak to, because it does it on the PlayStation 5 as well, so I need to speak to message Matt on that. Miles to Wilson Junction, and where are we stopping? We are stopping. Yeah, okay. That's where we're stopping. To go past the yard. Is there anything in the yard? Oh yeah, there was one there. What time did you go? 8:17. I don't know what time is now. I'll have a look. Nothing else sitting there at the moment. Oh, we'll go in a few minutes. He won't be there when we get there, so yeah. Cool. Pendo taking punters down in Houston. We have, is it Oldenburg Studios doing the 805 as well? So that'll be another timetable coming to West Coast Main Line South, but it will be a proper timetable with over 2,000 services. I think that's AI, including AI services, I believe. I'm kind of hoping that they add all the cargo line stuff in as well. So it's a comprehensive timetable. So you got the underground, the 377 runs, if they do still do them, I don't know. The freight. So yeah, and then obviously we got Adam Thompson's simulation Class 90 as well. Several different liveries: DB, Freightliner, First Group, Freightliner Green, I know that. Rail Freight as well, I think. I need to look at the article that was released a few days ago to read what it says. So I've not read all the articles, so I need to do that this afternoon when I get back in. So yeah. I keep checking my phone for messages because I am expecting some packages to be delivered today. I recorded this. I think I've done. I'm doing a bulk recording three episodes of Train Sim World Journeys today. I'm doing 2 now, and then I've got to pop out, and then I'll do one later on this afternoon. And then over the next couple of days, I'll edit them together and upload the ones that I need. So that'll be the next 3 weeks. So this week, next week, and I think Christmas week. I'm not working on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or Boxing Day. I will be doing the Saturday and Sunday. I'm hoping, he says, on New Year's Eve to do my usual annual pilgrimage. To Eastleigh. Ever since I lost my mum, it's something that I wanted to get back to doing. I didn't do it. I don't think I did it the first year she went in 2023 to 24. I did it 2024 to 2025. I did it, yeah, New Year's Eve 2024. Don't think I did 2023 though. I just wasn't in the right, you know, just wasn't in the right place. Had a lot to deal with.
Mind the gap.
Because obviously I was getting ready to move out as well at some point, being evicted. So because basically I had to sign the end of tenancy agreement. Yeah, it's just a complete nightmare. Look at that little sun there. So in theory, so we get to see them now. And your London Underground train as well. They don't have the blinds. They've got no blinds in it. I think this is Harrow and Woolstone? Surely not. Yeah, it is. Underground train there, though. Oh, that's cool. Harrow and Woolstone is another nice place to spot. Get some photographs of the stuff going up and down the West Coast Main Line. This is one of my places that I do go to in London. even when I can get there. So yeah, because it's just down the road from Wembley. So most of the stuff that goes into Wembley or come out of Wembley, you will see, which is pretty cool. It's another underground train just going in. So that other underground train will come out, and when that one that's just gone in, will go into place where the other ones just come out of the head shunt. I can always remember the Silverlink 313s running up and down here as well. Then we had the 319s as well, going from, I think they went from Brighton up to Watford. Then it was 377s, which this is why you do see some now. So this video will be about an hour long, just basically because of the journey and the signal, the thingy signals, adverse signals, which I quite like that on when you do a route. Oh, that bend over looks great coming around there. So yeah, when you got to constantly be on the lookout for yellow signals or red signals, I like that in a run. Yeah, it takes you longer to do, but it gets you used to signal being at that state. And in theory, I know people that just say, oh, they want to speed run it. It's just like, well, that's not how you do it. But that's how they play the game. Just let them get on with it. Me, I just like to take things casual. Well, we'll get there as and when we get there. We've got yellow signals, so yeah, try to obey it as much as you can, to be honest. I always try the rules that you don't go speeding up to a red signal in the vain hope that it's going to change. The one that I did that to was the signal on this line as you go through Wembley, and it diverts you into the yard at Wembley. And once I have spadded that because I didn't stop in time. So this station here is a great station to spot from, because you're not on, I need to do those, you're not on, you've got nothing, no platforms to obstruct you from, West Coast mainline freight traffic. That's pretty cool. And if I remember right, I don't know what the station's called now. South Kenton. Anyway, let's catch up with my train. South Kenton, it is a nice station to get some. I mean, a lot when the Freightliner 86s were running, you could hear them going at full power going through there. It was brilliant. Right, so Wembley is next. That's why we've got the red light up there. We'll just start slowing down. It is an approach signal because you go into the yard. But yeah. Or an approach control signal, but it's an approach control signal. You know that it's going to change. It still doesn't mean that you go running up to it and then get it to change in the vain hope, that it will change just before you get it. Sometimes it doesn't. I've always been fascinated with this area of the route, because it's the yard at Wembley, and then you've got Willesden as well, so it's a huge area for freight and ECSs, everything from literally from Willesden. I love, to be honest, I love it from Euston all the way up through to Wembley, because it's just so busy with the underground, the overground, Vomiting free. And look at me. Look at me. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. That I should have been approaching, even though we got a green. I should have been approaching that at what, less than 15 miles an hour. I know it was 20 miles an hour. So yeah, I don't listen to my own advice. Wisdom reception, I think that is. So we're coming off the main line, because it won't be reception. I never take my own advice, that's the biggest problem. I think we're going, yeah, we're going down there, look. So it turned out nice and sunny again, literally. Yeah. No sound coming from the wagons. I'll have to speak to Adam about that. Mobile service there. Pendo. So yeah, just I used to go up on the 377 or the 319 up past Wembley Yard just to grab the numbers and everything of the locos that were in there, but it looks a little bit more empty now. But yeah, it would be great, hopefully, because we'll see Adam Thompson's 90 in there at some point. Whether it will be a Freightliner or DB one or EWS one. Oh, this is the FCAs here as well, as well as these FKAs. I think it was these FCAs. They had the wagon number on them as well on the deck. They had the wagon number on here. I'm sure they did. Because when we had the containerised gypsum come in, going down from Mountfield to Southampton docks, we had the 60s running with blue containers on them, and with these on these type wagons. There's a shed on it. What we've got? As booked, 66141. Oh, looks as though Carl has turned the fog machine on. If you're thinking, who's Carl? Carl is a mod on my Discord and YouTube channel, and it's always something that we turn around and say is like, oh, Carl's turned the fog machine on. Whenever it starts getting all foggy and everything, it's just something that we start and it just goes on. And the other thing as well is like, as booked, it's just like, oh, whenever you went past Hoover Yard on the Southeastern Highspeed route, would always say, oh, because there was always a period with me that I would never ever have any of my content, my Creators Club 66s appear at Hoo Junction. Everyone else would, I wouldn't. Don't know why. Did find out why in the end. I'll tell you that in a minute. So it all started saying, "Oh, what's in Who game?" And you know, we go past, and it'll all be the EWS or DB66s. and we'd always say, "Oh, as booked," sort of thing, you know, and that's where it comes from. And the reason why I wasn't getting my Creator Club 66s up here was because I had about 4 or 5 different liveried 395s. These were from Adam and one of mine, and the Ukraine one. And a week or two after I got rid of, deleted all those 395 liveries, the liveries for the 66s started to appear at Who and at Dagenham as well. So yeah, that was cool. If you want to have a look at my Creator Club 66s, if you don't have them, they're okay. They're not bad. Look at Hentis. Do a search on Creators Club for HR, and most of my 66s will. Most of my Creator Club liveries will appear. I would do it via the internet and not through the Creators Club on the. In the game, because it limits you for downloading if you ever do want to download them then. So yeah. Speed up a bit now. So we've got a bit of freezing fog going on as well. So we are stopping. Are we going underneath? Oops, hold on. Yeah, we are. We're going underneath, and we will stop just there. That's awesome. Desperately need a 325 unit. Oh. So you've got 2 short yellows and then a red.
Mind the gap.
So we're now on the other side of the West Coast Main Line. Going down to the up release. When we first got Bakerloo, it was, you know, the London Underground Bakerloo route, and when you go past this, come out of Queen's Park, and you're around this area, the West Coast Main Line, I was like, oh my god. You know, very disappointed that there was nothing else running along here, not even freight. And it wasn't until Joe did the timetable, until he populated the Willesden, this area as well, the yard at the side, and Willesden, Wembley yards. Although you don't really see a lot of it, it was the thought of how it's at that point the yard and everything, it just looked so empty. And it's, you know, it's not like that in real life. Obviously we didn't have the Pendos or the Desiros, but you had the 377s. But you couldn't really use those because they're third run only. So now we've got the 710s, Pendos, Desiros. We're going to get the 705s as well. We've got 66s. We're going to get the 90s. We've got 86s, 87s. Awesome. Only a couple of years to get most of them. Now we need a 92. Bring it to a stop. And there you go. 6,680. I'd already done this one anyway, but I just quite enjoyed it. Speeding, just a bit of speeding, not a lot, just a bit. But anyway, guys, I really hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, hit the like button, hit the sub button, come and say hello. Yeah, so I will see you in the next one, and yeah, have fun, take it easy. Okay, cheers, thank you, bye bye.